Katie Blossom's life seemed beautifully ordinary. She worked at a small bookstore where the scent of ink and old paper wrapped around her. Then one evening, something peculiar occurred. It started with the feeling of being watched, a prickling at the back of her neck as she walked home. At first, she dismissed it. Maybe it was just her imagination. But then came the notes. Elegant, handwritten messages slipped under her door. She knew her peaceful life could unravel. She changed her routes home, avoided walking alone. The lover. A serial killer who hunted lonely women. But Katie Blossom wasn't like most girls. One foggy night, she saw him for the first time. She felt a presence, a faint cologne, footsteps. She glanced back. He was there, a tall figure under the street lamp. The lover had revealed himself. Katie walked faster, seemingly panicked. She entered a narrow alleyway, a dead end, or so he thought. He followed just as she knew he would. The slow, careful pursuit. Katie turned. The lover stopped, tilting his head. She could see him now, sharp features, well-groomed.
You're not afraid.
Katie smiled.
Should I be?
Fear makes it more interesting.
Interesting for you, maybe.
And then she moved, faster than any human should. 1 second she was in front, the next behind him. The lover stiffened, confusion on his face. His hand went for the knife, but she caught his wrist. The blade clattered to the ground. For the first time, the lover looked uncertain. Katie's smile widened. Her eyes darkened, pupils expanding, swallowing the soft brown into endless black. When she parted her lips, the street lamp caught the glint of her fangs.
You never wondered.
She murmured, stepping closer.
If one day you choose the wrong girl.
The lover's breath hitched. And then, for the first time in his short serial killer story, he ran. Because tonight, the lover wasn't hunting her. Tonight, he had made a terrible mistake. She could hear his frantic breathing, the pounding of his heart. He had never been hunted before, never known what it was like to feel that creeping, inescapable presence behind him. She followed at a leisurely pace, savoring the reversal. He tried to lose her in the streets, darting down alleys. But Katie knew these streets better than he did. Finally, he reached a dead end, a high brick wall. Nowhere to run. When he turned, she was already there, stepping out of the darkness like a specter. The lover, who had once whispered sweet, deadly promises to his victims, could only stare. His lips parted, but no words came. Katie approached slowly, savoring the moment. His breath was ragged, his face pale. And the lover, the city's nightmare, finally screamed. 3 months passed, and one day Katie read the news in the journals that were used to be delivered at the shop. But that time the headlines were different. No one knew what had happened to him. Some said he had finally slipped up, fled to escape capture. Others whispered that maybe, just maybe, he had finally met someone worse than him. Katie Blossom read the news with a satisfied smile. The city was safe again, almost. And sometime, deep in the shadows, she waited. She waited for the next monster to make the mistake of thinking she was a prey. Because the nights belonged to her, as it has always been.